Bonjour, film lovers! Did you know that you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher Radio? We also have a website, realnerdspodcast.com, where you can find cool articles and other ways to listen to the podcast. You can also follow us on social, Facebook at Real Nerds Podcast, and Twitter and Instagram at Real Nerds. You can also call us at 720-6nerds5. We will listen to it, we will play it, and we will probably commentate on it. Also, email us at realnerds@gmail.com. Anyway, enjoy the episode.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of moviegoers everywhere. I am Ryan. With me is Brad.
Hey.
Zach.
Hello.
And Corinne.
Howdy, everyone.
Every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week, the MCU strikes back after 2 years with Black Widow. Stay tuned to the end of the episode. We will tell you if we recommend Black Widow or not, play the trailer, and then spoil the film. We'll also talk about movie news, movies that are coming out on Blu-ray, movies we've been watching, movies. And no response from the people that are on this podcast with me.
Wait. Movies. That's the answer, right? Right, Alex?
I mean, we occasionally watch TV shows, too.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Do we ever read comic books here anymore?
I do. Actually, I just got done reading 2 Spider-Mans.
Woo! Which ones?
Well, in Amazing Spider-Man right now, they had a arc called The Chameleon Conspiracy. And while I was gone, they released a giant-sized finale to it.
Ooh.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 70 is Prelude to Sinister War. So,
The Chameleon Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. The guy who's writing it, his name's Nick Spencer, and he has a lot of really big ideas for Spider-Man, and some of them land and some of them are whatever. I mean, it's cool. He's trying stuff new, and in this one, there's a bunch of chameleons trying to... So Chameleon is a guy who wears disguises and basically can change it to anybody. And in this one, he tries to steal this certain... It's really weird. It's really hard to describe it. Basically, there's more than one chameleon, and they're trying to get this MacGuffin, and Spider-Man has to team up with people to stop it. And Nick Spencer's done a really long run. It comes to an end in a couple weeks, and his big thing is there's this villain called Kindred, who is Harry Osborn as a demon, and so they're revealing all this stuff, and the last 2 issues I read were okay.
We should also at the end of the story, does he turn into a karma chameleon? Does he come and go? Does he come and go? Oh, whoa, whoa.
Nope.
Okay. Well, then I don't think I'll be interested in reading it.
Yeah. These last maybe 5 or 6 issues have been really continuity heavy. So if you're not reading Spider-Man, it's really hard for me to explain it to it.
It's not a jump in at any point.
No, because Nick Spencer's also, he does this kind of cool thing, but it's also somewhat annoying where he'll do a cliffhanger ending for an arc, let's say, and then he'll go into another arc of Spider-Man and he will never resolve the previous arc, but he'll always do 2 pages. So he'll end an issue and then it'll do basically an epilogue of 2 pages of what you can expect in the coming months. And so for the last, 7, 8 issues, it's been Dr. Octopus recruiting the Sinister Six.
Okay.
But yeah, he does this thing where he gives you a little taste of what's going to happen, which could backfire because he's written, well, I don't know, 100 and some issues of Spider-Man. So he better pay off. He only has like 6 issues left. So we'll see. I don't know. It was cool. The Green Goblin's been in it a lot, so it's been fun.
Hey, we should tell everyone what's going on 3 weeks from now.
In 3 weeks, we're going to be doing our 500th episode, where I will reveal our 100 favorite films from the 500 that or 499 that we have seen. Speaking of which, if you have any changes, you have to give them to me tonight, because I'm going to send the list to Brad tomorrow. So if something is snuck in there, you got to let me know. And what is not going to be on there.
I don't think family will be entering my list anytime soon. So I think
I will say I love that the memes going around the internet now are just a bunch of family stuff. They had this one for Avengers Endgame where Captain America says Thanos is strong, and it's freaking dumbass Vin Diesel. He says Thanos is strong, but family is stronger, and it's a bunch of cars going through the portals. Brad sent me a funny one with the Saving Private Ryan bit, which is family strong, but not as strong as a sniper bullet.
Wait. Oh my God, really?
Because remember, he's
yeah.
She looks like my niece, sir.
Yep. No, I remember. I just didn't think anybody would dare go that dark.
They should.
Oh my God. What was the one that I sent you guys recently? I'm trying to remember. It was it's the Pawn Stars one, where it's like, how about a good storyline? And he's like, best I can do is family.
Yeah. And that's the only thing. The hours of memes I've read have been more entertaining than the 2 hours I spent with Fast 9.
I'm not gonna lie. I want the Jurassic Park crossover now, and it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility, given the fact
I
that
don't at all.
Is Jurassic World that precious to you?
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, okay.
I think Jurassic Park is one of the greatest movies released in the last 30 years.
I didn't say Jurassic Park. I said Jurassic World.
But it's still the same world. So you're asking me if I want Jurassic Park dinosaurs and Furious movies, and the answer is no.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Only so they can eat Vin Diesel, right?
Well, they wouldn't. They'd try to bite him, and he'd probably hold up the T-Rex's jaws or something.
Or he'd ride the T-Rex instead of a car, you see. He'd drive a T-Rex instead of a car.
So he'd basically...
There's another funny one, too, where Mufasa is falling off the edge of the cliff, and Diesel's car slides underneath him and catches him.
And Simba's in the car.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep.
Anyways, hey, Brad, you can tell us what's happening around town, too. That'd be fun.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
This week at the 88 Drive-In, the lineup, I think, is the same from last week. It's the Boss Baby 2, Fast 9, The Fast Saga, and The Quiet Place 2. And then the Holiday Twin, Screen 1 has Black Widow and Cruella, and Screen 2 has Boss Baby 2 and F9.
Oh.
And there's an EFP on Thursday, so check out the Buck Theater for 6 local films.
Yep, local indie film is back, baby.
8 p.m., free beer, $5.
Wow. Very cool.
That's what's going on around town.
Woo!
Hey, unspool that real news.
It's real news! Alrighty. Hey, Ryan, you like Night of the Living Dead, right?
Yep.
Did you know that since that thing's in the public domain, anybody can do anything they want with it?
I did know that.
Did you know that you can do anything, including animate the Night of the Living Dead?
I thought we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I do not remember you. Oh, wait. Oh, so you did it when I was gone then. Never mind. It came up in my newsfeed this week.
But yes, I'm okay with it. They have a lot of big stars doing it. And it's being produced by Warner Brothers Animation, so I'm on board.
Yep. All right, then. Never mind. Serves me right for not listening to an episode I wasn't on yet. But yeah, this looks fun. I'm excited to see this. I couldn't see if they were gonna like do it in black and white or if they were gonna do anything different with it. But
I know it's
I
supposed to
don't.
come out in October, so I'm guessing we'll get a look at it pretty soon.
Do you think it'll come to HBO Max right away, or we're gonna have to first get it on
I don't
physical
know.
first? Ooh,
Do not know what they're going to do.
kind of hope. I mean, I'll do it either way. I'm curious enough that I'll bite on this. More importantly, guys, from the Cannes Film Festival, this is straight off the presses. Paddington 3 is set to start filming next summer. And we're going to get the what? Corinne?
They say we're at?
What?
Where at?
You're breaking up, Corinne. That's why I'm asking you to speak again.
Never mind.
So yeah, Paul King, Simon Farnaby, and Mark Burton are returning to contribute to the story. If your question was where they're filming it, Corinne, the answer is I don't know. But I mean, the only thing that I can confirm is that Paul King is involved in the production, but it does not look like he is directing. So, yeah, regardless, we're getting Paddington 3. So, sounds like a lot of fun, guys. We can finally get that bear to save the world yet again because he needs to. It's going to be beginning principal photography in the second quarter of next year. So, we'll have to wait till probably 2023-ish to get this thing. But obviously, it will get 100% in order to defeat those vitriolic trolls on the internet. All right. And moving on.
Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say to that, Zach. Sure.
No, I'm not waiting for it. I'm hearing a delayed sound from Corinne's mic. So, anyway, Ryan, you alluded to this me this week. This is kind of insane from Scream Factory. They are unleashing not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 of the Halloween movies in 4K. This is
it's cool. Like the only thing I think's weird is one. Well, I guess weird's the wrong word, but they're $40 each. That sucks.
There's going to be new extras.
I read it doesn't look like there's new extras in it.
They said they're going to be sprinkling them in. It doesn't look like they're finished yet, which is why they're saying this is going to be released in September. They still got 2 months. They might be cooking something up.
Didn't the Blu-ray box set only come out like 3 years ago?
2 years ago?
No, that's like 6 years ago.
6, 8, yeah, it's old.
Yeah. Oh. It's an older set. But regardless, this artwork looks nice. I like how each of the covers represents the different masks that Michael had. If people are wondering why you're only getting the first 5, a lot of that will probably have to do with the fact that the other ones are owned in some form or fashion by buy-ins groups, acquisition of Miramax. So you won't be getting those in 4K anytime soon at all. But if you can still find one of the Halloween collections from Scream Factory, Shout Factory, which I believe at least the bare bones edition is still available, you can get those in nice HD transfers. By nice, I'm meaning the 8th one is the only one that looks like garbage, and it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, look for that in September. The packaging that they have for this shit, Ryan, looks awesome. Like the amount of goodies you can get in this stuff. Like some nice records attached.
The one with all the records is like $270.
And I might end up biting that bullet. I
just make sure you do it soon. I read an email from Scream Factory. They've already sold like 70% of them.
All right. Well, they
if it's something you want to do, just let you know.
Oh, because
the records look awesome.
I know. I would like the records. I do have to take into account that I just spent money making a movie. So, but
yeah, I take into account how long I want my marriage to last, and then we go from there.
Yeah. You know what the real crime is, Ryan? They announce these things at the most inconvenient moment for us. Whether it's me having made a movie or you being married for how many years now?
10 years.
Wow. They were 10 years too late.
I know. Dicks.
Oh, God. But anyway, moving on. We got a bunch of release dates set for this week, and amongst them, we are finally getting a release date on Guillermo del Toro's latest movie, Nightmare Alley, which is a remake of the 1940s film noir set in a carnival with Bradley Cooper at the helm star. So, Ryan, you just said, tell me this week that you got the original Nightmare Alley on Criterion. So I'll be curious to see what you think of it.
Today I went to Barnes & Noble because I picked up my kid. I had a meeting in the morning. And when I picked up my kid for my in-laws, he wanted to go to round one at Southwest Plaza. I was like, perfect excuse for me to go to Barnes & Noble. So I got that and another weird movie.
Oh, yeah, the story of Temple Drake. Weird or pre-code badassery awesomeness?
Oh, no, I've heard both. So
yeah. Either way, you're in for a fun ride with both of those movies, I'm sure.
Yeah,
well, I haven't seen Temple Drake. I haven't seen Temple Drake, but Nightmare Alley is fucking cool. Like
I said, it is half off, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll blind buy Criterions because even if the movie is meh, they usually have pretty great special features. Except for Charade, which only has a commentary, which is really weird.
Did you open up the Nightmare Alley package yet?
No.
There's tarot cards inside of it. It's awesome.
Oh, nice.
little collectible tarot cards. It's awesome. This one came off of the presses, I think today. Or no, it was a couple days ago. But it sounds like Marvel is no longer making actors sign the big contracts for multi-picture deals. I
mean, at this point, I read the quote with Kevin Feige, and I kind of agree. You either want to make the movies or not, because they make really great movies and they make you lots of money. And I would only want to work with people that want to work with me too.
Yeah. Well, and they had people attached early on for multiple sequels who just ended up dropping out completely, like Hugo Weaving with Captain America.
Yeah, and I think I forget I was going to go with a point, but I think the stigma of superhero films is no longer there. Some people like Scorsese and people like that have an issue, but I think as the public and most movie-going people, it's just another genre now. You know, it's as common as horror comedies.
Yeah. I think they're not relying on star power to sell. Like, people are coming to a Marvel movie regardless of who's in it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's because you're going off the backs of the characters. You know, I just read an article that Zack Snyder's Justice League is the highest rated comic book movie on IMDb since The Dark Knight. So
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Zack Snyder fanboys are a little overboard on it, but you know. But I think people are at the point where, too, I mean, I remember a time, X-Men and before that, where comic book specific looks weren't the coolest thing. I mean, yeah, Batman 89 and Batman Returns had comic book likeness, but then when you started getting into the Batman and Robins and stuff, it kind of went away from that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, fuck, we'll put Mysterio in a movie. Dude with a fishbowl on his head? Sure.
We'll be costume accurate. Doesn't matter. We don't need to give them sleek black suits or anything like that. They can be
to make it look cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, that doesn't bother me in the X-Men movies, but like, if they're gonna do more X-Men movies going forward, I want some colorful costumes. And you're right about the star power thing. Like, I mean, to be completely honest, it seems like most star power, quote unquote, has been moving over into television anyway. That you don't need a name to sell a movie anymore on a big
and
screen.
Now is the star power the actual comic character? I'd argue that it is.
Yeah, the IP, well, definitely the IP is the moneymaker right now. It has nothing to do with the actor attached, unless that actor could have a solid fan base, but it's not going to be enough to motivate $1 billion in revenue. So, but Iron Man, that's an IP that will sell $1 billion in revenue, hands down. Same with Star Wars. You don't need name actors in Star Wars to sell a Star Wars movie, technically. I mean, who's the biggest
You just need the stars and the wars.
Yeah. I thought those were the stars and the Treks. Wait a minute. Or the battles and the stars and the Galacticas.
Speaking of which, man, those Trek box sets are so pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Let's segue over from Marvel to Star Trek. Brad, you kind of actually you started sharing this. Please explain why you think we're only getting 4 of these movies and not all 6.
Well, it's just a hypothetical, but so yeah, we're finally getting the Star Trek original movies in 4K on physical media, but they're only doing a 4 movie set instead of a 6 movie set, and I'm guessing it's two things. One, they're doing an expensive restoration on the motion picture. Um,
which is what I wanted for a while because some of those effects plates needed to be cleaned up.
yeah, but it won't. That restoration won't be in this box set. It's going to be just an upgraded version of the existing motion picture
You know what's
cut.
funny, Brad, is I think you're right.
No, I know I'm right. And then later they're going to do like a singular director's cut release, like they did with Wrath of Khan on Blu-ray a couple years back. But the most bizarre thing is that it's a 4 movie pack, so they left out 5 and 6. And I'm guessing because, first of all, it's much easier to sell as a price point of 4 movies rather than 6, so they can keep it under $100 at 4 in 4K. Like the Indiana Jones set, which is also from Paramount, is only a 4 pack, you know. Although I'm sure they'll do a 5 when the next movie comes out. So there's that. So it'll be cheaper to sell, and then they'll probably do 5, 6, and Generations, because I don't agree with this, but they're starting to mold this narrative that Generations is actually the last movie because Kirk's in it, rather than the first movie of Generations, which sucks for longtime fans. But whatever. I have multiple iterations of this. You know, I'm just glad to have it. And then they'll do, what was the other
First
one?
Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis.
Yeah, as its own thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also like wondering if keeping it to 4 also makes it easier, because so many people have bitched about 5. You know, they don't feel obligated to include 5 anymore because they're like, oh, you know, if it's not part of the set, you know, we can get away with, you know, people don't like it anyway, so we can just make this 4 and make it cheaper, and you know, they'll be okay with getting 5, 6, and 7 as its own thing for even cheaper because it'll be a 3-pack.
And technically 4 concludes a mini trilogy inside those 4. So
Yeah.
it technically provides a conclusion.
Which they did on the Blu-rays. I'm just kind of wondering, like, if they're doing the restoration of 1, why not just do another 3-pack of 2, 3, and 4 as the trilogy, and then go ahead and still do the 6-pack and the 4-pack like they did before. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But the best part I like is that they're using the original movie logo again on the box art, which is great. Instead of just like an
you know,
Enterprise.
too, I'm guessing money plays a big role in it, and I don't know why they do this. Because I finally I did get the Indiana Jones set a couple like last week, and the steelbooks look cool, but the outer packaging is garbage.
Yeah, it's
so I'm
so
hoping,
flimsy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'm hoping that they take more time with the Star Trek. My guess is they're going to see how well this set sells. Say, oh, now we have all this money. Now we can invest in making 4Ks of quote unquote the lesser movies.
Yeah, I think because the Next Generation, you know, Blu-ray restoration didn't sell as well, because like each set was like $60, I think, when it came out for a season, and you know, they spent a lot of money to upgrade that show. So I think Star Trek in general, they're so gun shy, on top of people hating 5, that they're just like so tepid. So they're just like, we'll put out these 4 that people love, you know, and get them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they just don't do what Disney did. On Star Wars, they all look really great except for Phantom Menace. It looks pretty murky in Ultra HD. And I think they just didn't fucking care on Phantom Menace. Yeah, whatever, who cares what it looks like? I really do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's money. Like,
Well,
it's so much
maybe
easier
the
to sell these.
technology at the time didn't translate very well.
What's that?
I said maybe the technology at the time didn't translate very well into Ultra HD.
No, because I saw
Like the
I just
Phantom Menace
watched.
effects?
Yeah. I mean, I watched My Fair Lady in 4K and it looked stunning. I really think it just comes down to money and how much people want it.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, It's a Wonderful Life in 4K looks amazing. So,
yeah.
I mean, and I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that the original trilogy of Star Wars looks pretty good in 4K.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Oh yeah, because they're also doing that too in steelbooks.
Are they?
Ooh.
The original trilogy, it's not 4K, but it's each season in a steelbook, which is also pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, that one you posted. Yeah, that one looks great.
But yeah, like I said,
Love the colors.
It's an easier sell if it's under $100. So like I said, the Indiana Jones one, they did the 4 movies and for like $80. So
we just need to start admitting as a culture that Star Trek V isn't a terrible movie. It just sucks compared, but it's only because there's 5 other great ones, which vary in quality. But 5 is obviously the weakest one, but it's still a fun time.
I think the biggest tragedy is that, like, because of 5, it makes people ignore 6, which I think is a great movie and should be treated
6 is amazing.
much better. But
shit, yeah, man, Mystery in Space with Shakespeare, it's awesome.
What they really should spend money on, because Shatner's like 91 right now, is his director's cut of 5 with the rock monster.
Oh God!
Paramount, if you're listening, get on it because you don't have much time left.
My God. Give him this one thing before he leaves, please.
Like, I think
it'd be so fucking cool.
I think Robert Wise died a couple, like 3 or 4 years after he did his DVD restoration of the motion picture. So
yeah, because he's all over the special features for that thing.
Yeah. So it'd make the fans really happy if he did that. So yeah, that's Star Trek news.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Wonderful. Let's see.
I got more.
We got some, what?
I got more if you don't.
Oh, go ahead with yours while I pull mine back up.
We know what year Indiana Jones 5 is going to take place.
What year?
1969. Because there are set pics of they're shooting in Glasgow, and the streets have signs on them in the windows welcoming them Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin home.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
So it sounds like there's a space race going on.
Wait a minute.
So if you're looking forward, what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Brad.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're looking forward to Indy punching Nazis again, I think you might be disappointed. So,
I mean,
unless they're faking the moon landing,
yeah, or ex-Nazi scientists in the space race, you never know.
Say he didn't punch Nazis in the last one.
That's what I'm saying. It's like people don't like the last one because he's doing this all sci-fi stuff, and space race sounds like more sci-fi stuff. So you might be, I don't know.
He'll be punching communists at that point, or like.
All right, I'll take him beating up commies. Sure. I'll take Indiana Jones anywhere.
Yeah, how about that? I was going to say though, 1969, Ryan. Do you think he could team up with Cliff Booth? I mean, stranger things have happened in this franchise.
I want a scene of Indy running through Woodstock.
Could happen.
Him and Rick Dalton punching hippies.
It sounds too like it might be a multiple timeline thing. So much like in Last Crusade when you saw Indy as River Phoenix, this might be a flashback thing where something he did in the past.
Yeah, maybe they can get River Phoenix to reprise.
Just put some makeup on Joaquin Phoenix. But yeah, looked like something Indy did in the past might have an effect on 1969. So that's what this might be about. So, yep.
Cool.
Yep. Wonderful. And then the last piece of news that I really have comes from I don't know if we ever talked about the fact that they were making a Barbie movie, a live action Barbie movie with Warner Brothers. Yeah, Margot Robbie. But now we do have Greta Gerwig attached to direct it. So we might get something pretty interesting out of a Barbie movie, courtesy of Miss Gerwig there. I really only have the question of what does a live action Barbie movie look like? I'm assuming it will be
Margot Robbie.
Well, my assumption is that it might be self-referential but like there is a quote here that I thought was pretty helpful and kind of trying to suss it out. But Robbie said, like, people generally hear Barbie and they think, I don't know what that movie is going to be. And then they hear Gerwig is directing it and they're like, oh, well, maybe I don't. And that's where the quote ends. So, like, I'm curious. Like, would you guys go see this? Like,
maybe it's Margot Robbie.
I love
totally
the talent.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I loved Little Women. Like, I did not think I was gonna like Little Women, and I enjoyed the shit out of that movie. So, I'll follow Gerwig down any rabbit hole at this point. But yeah, I look for the Barbie movie coming soon. Looks like fun. And then I guess like a small little tease is that Lord of the Rings audiobooks are going to be coming out that are read by Andy Serkis. And the only way I will buy them is if he reads them as Gollum for the entirety of the series. So
I would not listen to that.
That'd be
at
very
all.
annoying.
Why wouldn't you?
He should only do the Gollum voice when he's reading Gollum.
No,
Yeah.
he should do it for the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, that would take so long.
Jennifer came down the mountain. Oh God.
Did we
Give me
talk
that,
about the
please.
death of the week?
Yes. Corinne, you sent this to me just as everything was about to get started. Charlie Robinson from Night Court died.
Many
75 years old.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Night Court, but Charlie Robinson was a workhorse actor to say the least. Started off with guest shots on shows like Cannon, The White Shadow, Lou Grant, Satan Elsewhere, and Hill Street Blues. He was in the sequel miniseries for Roots called Roots: The Next Generation, and then he got a started recurring role in the show Flamingo Road, which was a primetime soap opera from NBC. And then he was cast in Buffalo Bill alongside Dabney Coleman. And then, of course, he would end up playing the new clerk, Mac Robinson, on Night Court. Has anybody here watched Night Court? I must confess I've never seen Night Court.
I used to watch it all the time on Nick at Night.
Yeah, me too.
It was that would play all the time. Alf and like
Perfect
Family
Strangers.
Ties, Perfect Strangers, and then as it got later is when I would watch Bewitched and Dick Van Dyke. And I used to watch Bewitched and Dick Van Dyke when I was sick, when I was in elementary school. But Night Court used to play in syndication at night as well. And oh yeah, I used to watch Night Court all the time. The Judge Harry, he used to love Mel Torme, and Mel Torme would show up on the show every once in a while.
Do we have a Night Court, or is that
yeah.
just a New York thing?
I don't know. I'm guessing major metropolises would. I don't know how it works.
I've never heard of anything like that here. But yeah, somewhere like New York or Chicago might have it. The only Night Court I ever watched was a 30 Rock episode called The One with the Cast of Night Court, where Kenneth, I forget what happens. I think it's like Kenneth really wants like the Night Court cast to reunite to get like a proper reunion. And I think Tracy ends up like recruiting all the cast members, including Robinson, to come back. And they're playing themselves, but they're anyway. It's really funny. But I've never seen the show Night Court, so watching that, I'm like, I mean, I guess this is something that somebody would want to see.
You know where I have definitely seen him is in Apocalypse Now. He was also in The River, Beowulf, Set It Off, Antoine Fisher, Even Money, and Steam. He would go on for later television in shows like The Bernie Mac Show, Charmed, House, How I Met Your Mother, My Name is Earl, Key and Peele, and This Is Us as of late. His widow had this to say. He was once referred to by Martin Landau as the greatest underestimated actor in Hollywood. Charlie Robinson was the love of my life, husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. He was truly the working actor's actor, and all of his passions, his craft took center stage, with his family being the wind beneath his wings, so he could soar to unbelievable heights. On behalf of my husband and family, I thank you for being part of that audience. So wonderful, wonderful send off by his beloved of a hardworking actor who made an indelible impression on those within the industry, and has given some of us something to watch at last, or some people a chance to revisit something like Night Court. But so long, Mr. Robinson. You will be missed at 75. And that is news.
I got one more thing.
Oh, okay, then. Never mind. We go to our senior correspondent, Brad.
I need Ryan's help with it. Seems pretty big. The Blackstone investment firm has acquired CGC for a ton of money.
Yeah.
What does that mean for us comic collectors? Are we going to be? Is CGC going to be unattainable for the little guy?
Nothing really. They're really just taking an invested interest where they're going to make tons of money off of something like 10% of every freaking comic goes through that. Because comic books, a lot like video games. I don't know if you've been seeing the video game auctions.
Yeah, Mario 64. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, are going for a ridiculous amount of money, and it's a commodity that, you know, old comic books always go up in value. They hardly ever drop. I mean, it's something as silly as Amazing Spider-Man 101 is the first appearance of Morbius. And I got it, I don't know, 15 years ago. And it's not the best condition, but even like a low condition of that book. So I got it for $39. Now, a low grade of that comic is like $600. So comics always appreciate and value the old ones. And so the investment firm is thinking it's a way that they can invest in something and they constantly get a return on it. I mean, the first appearance of Batman is selling for, if it's graded, is selling for something like $3 million. I mean, I don't know who has this money and how they can invest that much in a comic book, but they're out there.
My biggest concern is that this company also invests in real estate, and they have a pretty poor track record of buying up, ruining people's lives, and then buying up a ton of properties and then just turning them into rentals. So,
yeah, I mean, that's always the fear too with comic books. And my biggest complaint with Mile High Comics is he has the capital to go around and buy all these comic books, and his prices are 3 to 4 times more expensive than anywhere else. So in essence, he's creating a market for the comic books by making the prices really high. And I just don't want it to be a point where the average person can't go into a comic store and get a comic.
Yeah, I'm worried that Blackstone, you know, if they're not seeing the returns they want, they'll demand that CGC raise their grading prices, which are already kind of high.
Oh yeah, I can't afford to send them to CGC.
Yeah, because
it's ridiculous. I mean, maybe later when I don't have the kid to feed and put through school, you know, I'll send them there. But
Ryan, what if I create a system called ZGC, and I grade your comics for you?
Perfect.
Yeah,
it'll be totally undervalued.
No.
Is it a ZGC? It's actually worth less with the plastic on it.
No, Ryan, you got to tear it in half for it to be worth $1 billion.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the long story, short story long is they're trying to get in an investment where they know people are going to pay a lot of money to get their comics graded, because when they're graded, they're worth, you know, 2-3 times more of an ungraded comic. So then the demand is there, so people are going to keep on sending it, and then they're going to raise the prices. And
does anybody read these anymore, or is it just about what they're worth on a dollar market?
I just told you I read them.
I know you do, but does everybody else?
Well, I mean, some people go into it for an investment, but
I mean, if they're slabbed, they're not going to read it. Like, it's for display only.
Yeah, if it's slabbed, you can never read it again unless you want to break the plastic.
But they're meant to be read. Anyway.
Yeah,
Ryan, I like that yours are in plastic because you could read them if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's always a part of me. I mean, I have the first appearance of Green Goblin. I should probably get that one slabbed, but because I also have like 3 reprints of it too. But again, then I have to send my book away, and it could take up to a year before you get it back. It's weird.
Dang.
I sent a T-shirt to a friend recently, and it still hasn't arrived. It was like 2 months ago. So yeah, I definitely don't trust sending my comics through the mail.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if they had an on-site grader at a Comic-Con and they would grade it and slab it and give it to you when the con is over, then I'd do it.
I'm kicking myself because CGC was at Denver Comic Con for years, and I never bothered to just
Yeah,
drop
but
them
even
off.
then, I think when you give them your books, they don't grade them there. They just take them back and you have to pay them.
That's still
I
better
don't know
than
how
sending
it
them through the
works.
mail.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's news.
Movies on Blu-ray.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Well, Ryan, the Paramount Classics is continuing to unfurl its library with 4K and standard Blu-ray edition of Almost Famous, the 2000 Cameron Crowe picture. You can pick that up on from Paramount Classics if you'd like.
Featuring the Rod Stewart song, Every Picture Tells a Story.
Yes, indeed. You know what else is available, Ryan? Inexplicably, I've underestimated the fandom behind this movie. Scream Factory is a collector's edition of House of Wax from 2005, which you can pick up now.
Yeah, I have it coming.
Ooh, I have not seen this film in a while.
It's overly long. The Blu-ray that I have is really muddy, and the transfer isn't very good. But there's moments of the movie that is pretty cool.
I remember it not being abhorrent.
No, it's not horrible. I'll never forget. I reviewed this, I think last year, maybe the year before, for Blueberried, and the special features were so obnoxious on it, it drove me crazy. But I mean, it's cool. It's really has pretty some really cool kills in it. In the end, where the House of Wax literally melts, it looks really cool. So yeah,
it's something I regret not rewatching when I did the House of Wax episode on Ballyhoo, because I kind of wanted to
now
the story's not the same, but I kind of wanted to do a compare and contrast for like in terms of like how the violence is upped by a certain generation. So because there's also Waxworks and Tourist Trap, which is kind of like the story basis for the House of Wax remake. But
yeah, the only, I think, Dark Castle film they haven't put out, Scream Factory, is Gothica, which is one of Robert Downey Jr.'s first movies he made after he got out of prison, and he met his wife on that set.
That's the one where they had to take a risk insuring him, didn't they?
Yep. And then he repaid them by being sober now for 20 years.
So that's a goal. That's a goal for me to reach at that point now.
And you can do it.
Well, I'm already at year 3. Only 17 more to go. I could do it, Ryan. Just send me more Cary Grant movies to watch. I'll be fine.
My pleasure.
I'll keep you off the sauce, you idiot. Hey, Ryan, do you want to get a really fun movie in 4K, like a really fun movie that nobody should have a problem with?
Yes.
Okay, then you can get Mortal Kombat in 4K. How about that?
I know. I'm fucking pissed. I've been trying to pre-order the Steelbook on Best Buy for like 2 weeks, and they won't let me pre-order the Steelbook.
Ooh, dang. Isn't it always an issue, though, with Best Buy about the pre-ordering situation?
Sometimes.
Just wait till midnight tonight.
I know. I'm going to check at midnight. I mean, they do have Casper, Wyoming listed as a place that it's available, so. Road trip. Because the Steelbook is badass.
Yeah, I know. It looks damn lovely. And then among other new releases, you can get Jason Statham's latest outing with Wrath of Man on Blu-ray, directed by Guy Ritchie, of course.
I really love that movie, but there's no special features on it, so I'll wait till Black Friday when it's like $3.
I need to know if there's any Blu-ray features. It's not a good Statham, but
isn't that weird that a Guy Ritchie film doesn't have features?
I mean, they're not going to pay for them. What studio is going to pay for bonus features when everybody goes to streaming anyway? It doesn't matter for them anymore. It's like, and it's Lionsgate too, if I recall. So they're definitely not going to give a shit.
No, Lionsgate usually does a pretty good job of it. I literally just got a new Sicario.
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's Warner Brothers putting out Wrath of Man. Huh.
Dicks.
Okay. Come on, Warner Brothers, what the heck? Speaking of Guy Ritchie, you can also get Snatch in 4K. So yeah, watch some Snatch in 4K.
Which is great.
Criterion is putting out a Bill Duke movie from 1992 called Deep Cover, featuring Larry Fishburne. This movie looks cool, Ryan. I want to see this. On it, a uniformed cop is recruited by a drug enforcement agent to infiltrate a drug smuggling ring, looking to expand its operation. And I like Bill Duke, so I'll be interested in checking out his directorial work. And then Kino Lorber's got us some nice killer titles here. You can get Alias Nick Beale from 1949, featuring the wonderful Ray Milland. You can get Larceny, featuring Joan Caulfield and Shelley Winters. And you can also get from Kino Classics, The Great Gabbo, featuring Eric von Stroheim. This is a movie that the only reason I know about it is because Gabbo, the name Gabbo ended up being carried over into the Simpsons episode when Krusty gets canceled. But I would really like to see this movie. It's from their Library of Congress collection, so they do actually tend to, from my experience, give a nice little restoration to those. So yeah, The Great Gabbo. I might actually pick this up, Ryan, and tell you what I think of it. It's Eric von Stroheim, so I know it might be crazy.
Do it.
Yeah. And then from Warner Archive, you can get the Errol Flynn movie Objective Burma from 1945, featuring a dashing Flynn on the cover, holding up a gun, ready to fight.
And no people of color.
Nope.
That's a deep cut joke because he's a racist.
Yes, that is true. Errol Flynn was a. God. Stay tuned. There's going to be a ballyhoo on him. Also, I meant to say that there on the Snatch 4K, there is a really cool looking steelbook for that. So if you would like a steelbook of Snatch, pick up Snatch. And also, the recent SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Sponge on the Run, is getting its Blu-ray release. You can also get that movie along with Sponge Out of Water and the original 2004 classic, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, in a 3-movie Blu-ray DVD box set.
I actually like Sponge Out of Water. Am I the only person who loves the second SpongeBob movie?
I haven't seen it yet, but everybody keeps telling me it's just fine.
It's really bizarre. He talks to a dolphin at one point. It's really funny.
But they talked to David Hasselhoff in the first movie. Of course, it doesn't matter. If Ryan, did people genuinely have a problem with him talking to a dolphin?
No, I'm just saying that it's bizarre.
Yeah,
my kind of humor.
I'd like to go back to the original series and see, go back to how the original first 3 seasons, if I recall, have some ambitious animation for what's essentially a children's cartoon, just absolutely not giving a crap of how irreverent they can be.
Yep.
And yeah. That is Blu-rays.
We watch films. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
I was gonna say we forgot to mention in news, Jackass Forever trailer's coming on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll wait till next week to talk about it then, now won't we?
Well, they have promo pictures which are pretty fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the one with Knoxville getting flown in the air.
After getting hit by the bull,
and Pontus. I don't know how high he is. In the air, getting shot out of a cannon into a lake.
You think Jeff Tremaine's gonna cut Bam Margera out of the movie since he had to have a restraining order against him?
Oh yeah, he's not in it.
Oh, they took him. They really took Bam out?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
He got fired.
Good.
They added some new people. There's actually some people from Mythbusters in it. And some other stunt.
That's
groups,
awesome.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I think it's fun that the title is Jackass Forever. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm down to go just watch people make jackasses of themselves and get hurt. No way, dude.
I'm just happy that Wee Man Acuna is getting some work again.
I only saw one comment on the thread, and it was just I'm there opening day. I was like, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, we will be there. I mean, I don't know if they'll ever top a flying dildo in 3D, but we'll see.
Is that genuinely your favorite moment in Jackass 3D?
No, it just always stuck out to me that they would spend the time to make sure that a dildo was flying across the screen in 3D.
No, that's okay. That's fair. I was gonna say
Phantom Cam is not cheap, so yeah, they definitely.
Yeah, they choreographed the shit out of that. The one thing I remember the most from Jackass 3D is the shit volcano that they did. That thing was dumb.
Remember when Anya stuck his wiener through the hole and the scorpion tried to like pinch it?
I always love his face where he's like, "Ah, ah." Oh fuck!
There's another one that like always kind of brings like a joy to my mind is they're recreating the Memorex commercial where they're sitting in the chair and having something blast them away.
Yep.
And it's just a fighter jet engine. They're just flying all over the place. I fucking love that. That movie is fun.
How you doing, Corinne? Bunch of boys talking about boy stuff.
I was just thinking, like, the day that movie comes out, I'll be home and I'll be watching something like Casablanca or Charade, or I was thinking, like, oh, I should ask Ryan to give me a Cary Grant recommendation because Lord knows I ain't seeing Jackass 4.
No,
they added a lady to the new lineup.
Ooh,
Jackass is fun.
Jackass is for everybody, right? It's not just a guy thing, is it?
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna be home watching a real piece of cinema.
It's good. It's completely fine, Corinne. Like you're technically more than right to do so. I got indoctrinated last minute into the Jackass fandom. Anyway, that's Blu-rays, guys.
We watch films and TV shows throughout the week in a segment I call What You've Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Corinne, start us off.
All right, well, I've been watching quite a bit. We'll save Loki for whenever you guys go. All right, so I caught up on season 2 of The Owl House. They've had, I think, like 5 episodes come out in the last couple of weeks, and I just hadn't really gotten around to watching them yet, but caught up like this whole, just like sat down on Saturday and binge watched all of them. And it's still a really good show. They're keeping a lot of the plot threads from the season 1 finale and kind of picking up on those and starting to answer some of the questions that you had of like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's the origin story for this character? And what's the whole deal with like this evil plot going on? So we're starting to get like little breadcrumbs. And with season 1, there were, I'd say like every other episode, it was like pretty much self-contained. But now it's like the plot lines are still self-contained, but there's always like a little thing at the end, another breadcrumb to like tie it into the overarching storyline. So that's pretty fun. I finished watching season 2 of Haikyuu. There is a season 3 dubbed into English somewhere. I need to find it. But I will catch up on that. Haikyuu is the volleyball anime. It's excellent. I highly recommend it. I also rewatched Nozaki-kun, or Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, which is a shoujo anime. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend that as well. Then for my movies, I watched Crimson Peak because I saw it was on Netflix. And I was like, shit, I've never seen this, and you nerds are always recommending it to me, so I'm like, I gotta sit down and watch this. And you know what? It was pretty good. Like, I would watch it again, especially now that I know like where all the scary parts are. So I'm like mentally prepared now, because like especially that first like ghost sighting, I was like, nope, and just kind of like rolled out of there. But it was good. There was a lot of elements I could tell that were lifted from Jane Eyre. There were a lot of elements that I could tell were lifted from Rebecca. So, I mean, it was definitely playing into that like gothic romance, and I really liked that. The characters were all cool. I guess at the end I was kind of waiting for like a follow the House of Usher sort of moment, and that didn't really come. Mostly because you kind of have to have that final shot. I won't say what it is in case somebody hasn't seen it, but it's like I was still waiting for like the house to fall down. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good one. The Arrow, I have the Arrow limited edition Blu-ray. It's really nice.
And Tom
It's like,
Hiddleston was
I know,
great
sexy as a
actor.
motherfucker.
Yes.
I'm just really glad you finally embraced the power of Crimson Peak, Corinne. It's very, very, very happy.
I think it's one of those movies I would have to rewatch again just to like really pick up on all of the imagery, because the first time I'm just like trying to absorb the story. And I gotta admit, the internet had spoiled one of the bigger twists for me as to the whole dynamic between two of the main characters. Won't say which two, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
So I knew that twist, but I was just, there were still elements of it that I was trying to pick up, like as the characters are finding out about everything. And I was really, really shocked when a certain guy in period clothing didn't die at the end. I was like, whoa.
I that's a movie, Corinne, that after I saw it, I became firmly convinced that if we do 2015 Filmsplosion redo again, that I would have to put Crimson Peak above my original number one choice for that year, because I really loved it. It's such a good movie. And you're right, go back again, because there's visual cues in there and little details that Del Toro puts in there that are just fucking lovely to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like the houses like sinking into the ground was a little over the top, but I liked how they didn't really draw attention to it in an obvious way, but it was just kind of like every time the characters ran by like that big staircase or that kind of foyer area, like there was even more of that red clay on the wall, so the house looked like it was bleeding even more. And I was like, I appreciate you didn't linger on it, but it's still a little like, I don't know, cliche.
Considering though how in your face it could have been,
yeah,
like it's nice to know that it's just like it's an aesthetic rather than like something that he's beating you over the head with.
There was one scene, it's like when she goes to find Tom Hiddleston's character at the hotel, and he like, she's like, oh no, he left, and he comes out and he's like, no, I'm still here. And there's this exchange of dialogue that is lifted almost word for word from Jane Eyre. And I literally screamed in my room. I'm like, oh my gosh, they stole that from Jane Eyre. You hacks. But nah, it was nice. It was a cute reference.
Del Toro said that he was drawing off of as much of that era of writing, and like there's interviews where he's referencing, amongst other things, like stuff like Wuthering Heights as inspirations for this movie. So he's drawing off of all those past influences. It's really damn cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could tell that the sister character, she felt like a Mrs. Danvers sort of person to me.
Yeah, it's fucking dope, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. And I could talk about that movie for a lot longer, but I'll move on. So other than Loki, the last thing I watched was this movie on Netflix called Wish Dragon. It's another one of those, as far as I understand, another one of those like kind of like a DreamWorks style animation that was made with a Chinese company, and it was released like simultaneously in English and in Mandarin. And it's a really good movie. I highly recommend everybody go check it out. It's on Netflix. The premise, or like at least the basic concept, is Aladdin in modern day China, but it really grows beyond that. And I saw one of the YouTube channels I kind of follow had recommended it, and I actually didn't watch the video until after, and I'm really glad because it did kind of spoil some stuff. But she made the point of saying like it has some of these like familiar beats, but then it kind of goes in a different direction than what you're expecting. And I was like, yeah, that actually is a pretty good way to explain it, because you meet the Wish Dragon and you're like, oh, he's basically the genie from Aladdin. And it kind of feels like that initially, but then as the movie goes on, you really see like that's not the case, and he gets a lot more development than you think he would. So, and there's like some cute dynamics, cute animation. There's really nothing to lose in watching it. It's just a very heartwarming, very adorable story. So I recommended it to Ryan. I had told him that he and Kellen should watch it, but I mean, any of you should watch it. It's a great movie. Wish Dragon. It's on Netflix.
Nice. I mean,
Cool.
Kellen's watched Luca like every day, so as soon as he's done with Luca, then
Well, I mean, that's a good movie too, but,
it is.
maybe you show him Wish Dragon hoping it'll get him off of Luca, right?
Oh no. He'll probably just tell me, Silencio, Bruno. I'm like, all right, sure.
That's all I've been watching, other
Zach?
than which we'll get into.
Cool. I watched a couple of things. I picked up some Criterions from the Criterion sale, and one of them, of course, was Bringing Up Baby. At last, a nice restoration of this movie. If listeners might recall last year when Ryan and I were discussing Bringing Up Baby's ill transfer on HBO Max. So this is a welcome addition to the Criterion
I have to say, I'm doing
collection.
pretty good on my releases. Like, I begged for Last Action Hero. I've begged for Bringing Up Baby, and they've both been released on how I've wanted them to be released.
Cool. Now I've got a list of movies that I'm going to give you that you're going to start begging for on air.
Man, I'm already trying to pull for Super Mario Brothers.
Ryan, The Horn Blows at Midnight from 1945 needs to be on Criterion. It's an insane movie about an angel destroying the world with a trumpet that ends with a coffee set piece in the middle of Times Square. We need this movie in HD. Anyway, back to Bringing Up Baby. Bringing Up Baby is a movie that it took me a long time to love this movie because the premise of the screwball comedy intertwined with the raising and keeping alive of this tiger or this leopard. Sorry, this leopard was not something that I was into when I was younger. But I will tell you, especially going back this week, I think it is one of the defining movies in a sense of the Cary Grant persona in the respect of women pursuing him because of just how his character interacts
That's
with
my car.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie.
My favorite moment in the rewatch, hands down, is when Hepburn pretends to be a gangster character to get out of jail. And also when she's carrying in the other leopard and they're just like, that's not our leopard. She just gives this delayed reaction look of, oh my God. And I mean, what other movie ends with a bunch of dinosaur bones crashing to the ground? I mean, this shit's wonderful, man. But not more importantly, the whole movie's great, but the extras on this thing are packed and in a way that I was not expecting, because you get a Howard Hawks documentary from Germany, which is a nice, valuable artifact that has some of his last interviews done, and some really good revealing stuff in there. But we are treated in this collection to a 35-minute interview with Cary Grant. That was not really an interview, as it turns out. It's actually a Q&A from after a screening of Bringing Up Baby in 1969. I mean, Ryan, I don't want to spoil it if you're going to talk about it later on in your what we've been watching, but
we can talk about it now. It's fine.
Let's do it. The Q&A is kind of remarkable because you are actively listening to Cary Grant get comfortable with talking to an audience. It's like sort of, if I'm getting my history correct, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, this is before he ends up doing the Evening with Cary Grant lecture circuit.
I believe so, yeah, because this took place in
69.
69. I don't think he did the evenings until the 80s.
Over the 80s? Oh wow, I thought it was the 70s.
I think he passed away in 86, and he died before he did one of them.
Right. Anyway, though, you get to hear him in the first 5 to 10 minutes. He sounds very uncomfortable, or at least he's trying to get a groove going. And once you get him talking about the technicality and the efficiency of comedy and the way to make comedy work, he starts going off into it's almost like he's just listing off this is the job. He's very practical about it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the most I've ever heard him speak about acting and answering questions. And you're right, he opens up and you can tell he's a little nervous, and he's mentioned many times he actually doesn't like getting in front of people, which is really bizarre, or talking about himself. But it's really bizarre because he started out as, vaudevillian and on Broadway, and
but there has always been in the Cary Grant story, whether it's through the new book that you got or the series that Adam Roach has been doing, is that he's a person who was, defined by crawling into the skin of Cary Grant and leaving Archie Leach behind. So there's always been a duality about him and him having to wrestle with that. And you almost get to hear this in 35 minutes.
It's really fun as you hear when he loosens up, he's really funny. Mm-hmm. And, he talks about, I was doing this movie and I don't even remember doing it. Like, why was I in this picture? Why was I standing there? And how many films did he do all told again? Like the 72? Number 2? 72. If I did 72 movies, I don't think I'd remember why I was where I was. No. And then he also has the Judy story. Where
that is funny as shit.
He doesn't think he ever said that, but impersonators of him have said it, so it was attributed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I don't know, maybe when I saw Judy Garland. It's funny. And he, showers praise on Tony Curtis, because Tony Curtis obviously does an impression of him in Some Like It Hot. And he says that he loves it. And it's just really cool listening to him talk. And you can see why people gravitate towards him, because he is really charming. And it's a really nice treat to hear him talk about the film.
Here's an aside on that, Ryan. Have you ever watched the AFI tribute to James Cagney at all on YouTube? At the end of it, when he's talking to the audience, he's like going over his life and what it means to get this award, and he clarifies for the audience at the end, I never said you dirty, dirty rat. What I said was Judy. You hear Jimmy Cagney doing a Cary Grant impression.
It's awesome.
Tribute. It's awesome. I love it. But yeah, if you're looking for something to pick up in the Criterion sale and you've been liking the Cary Grant talk from Ryan or from myself, you need to pick this up. This is an absolute treasure to have in your collection, hands down.
And it's a fantastic film.
Oh yeah. It's Howard Hawks doing screwball comedy. You can't go wrong. Again, if the premise of Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn hanging out with a baby leopard is sounding goofball-y to you, trust me, it took me forever to love this movie, and you will get on board with it like probably quicker than I did. Anyway, moving on though from Cary Grant to the wonderful Glenda Farrell and Barton McLean. Last week I discussed kicking off my deep dive into the Torchy Blaine series. I started off with Smart Blonde. And guys, what?
You said Ryan? Smart Blonde.
Smart Blonde, yes, Smart Blonde. Okay, hey, Ryan, by Smart Blonde, we mean, of course, Torchy Blaine herself, the lovely Glenda Farrell. See, she's a feisty reporter who's going to get the story in spite of the fact that her boyfriend is constantly trying to tell her, you can't solve a mystery. But then she's like, oh, yes, I fucking can. And she solves that fucking mystery, Ryan. And she does it again in the sequel to Smart Blonde, which is Fly Away Baby. Now, if you'll recall, at the end of Smart Blonde, it is revealed that Torchy and Steve, played by Farrell and McLean, they are set to be married. And the movie kind of picks up with the thought in mind that they haven't had a chance to get married yet because everybody keeps avoiding one another. Amidst this, a diamond owner, a diamond collector has been murdered. And the most likely suspect is the son of a newspaper owner / reporter for a rival newspaper who is set to do a race around the world in several different aeroplanes by just basically flying from one place to another and just, you're covering the different cities you're going to on this little journey and whatnot. So Torchy and Steve are trying to solve this mystery, and Torchy figures out, well, the only way that I can be sure of my hunch is if I follow this man in his little airplane race with an airplane race of my own. So she joins in on this crusade. Meanwhile, Steve and Torchy's mutual friend Gahagan has retired from the police force, but we don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's clearly ashamed of it or doesn't want to be found out. Spoiler alert, he ends up being a private investigator. It doesn't matter though, because he's delightful to watch and charming to admire. And anyway, this film is just as good, if not a slight bit better than Smart Blonde for me, because you get a bit more expanded interactions with Bart McClane and Glenda Farrell, but you also get something that I have just started to learn to embrace fully from 30s Hollywood, which is airships. The climax of this movie takes place on a Zeppelin. Now, unfortunately, it is emblazoned with Nazi embology in it, and that is unfortunate to look at. That being said, though, this movie ends with something not quite as insane as Madam's. No, Ryan. I'm just going to spoil this for you, and if you watch it later and you're just like, "Oh shit, this was the greatest thing ever," I'll be like, "I know." So, when they discover who the actual murderer is, they find out that this guy has checked in under an assumed name inside the Zeppelin. And just as they're about to catch him, he's already ready with a parachute going like, "You'll never take me alive." He stumbles in the chase, falls down through the Zeppelin, but pulls the parachute too quick and it doesn't unfold, and he plummets to the ground. The climax on a Zeppelin, guys. Airships were so big back in this day, and this one is not the best airship sequence in a movie, but it was unexpected in a series that seemed like it was keeping close to the ground. Instead, it went all the way up to the sky. So yeah, I'm enjoying the Torchy Blane series. I really like Glenda Farrell's attitude and gumption in the series thus far, and I think she works wonderfully with Bart McClane. So I'll be keeping you on track for the next 7 Torchy Blane movies as I go through one each week. And then on that note, I went back to Pre-Code Land with the recommendation to watch a movie called Strangers May Kiss. Stars Norma Shearer, who is a star that I'm looking into for some of my Jack Benny research, and the movie deals with Norma Shearer playing a woman who is in love with a man, but they have agreed to stay friends. And meanwhile, she's kind of, sort of, not really, but also kind of involved with another man played by Robert Montgomery. She basically doesn't believe in marriage. And it's a pre-code movie that basically addresses the idea of like free-spirited love and the idea of monogamy. And Norma Shearer she's a gal that I've only watched in a couple of movies, from like The Divorcee down to The Women, but she is wonderful in this film. She gives a couple different speeches in this movie about how women are expected to behave in this time, particularly within the 20s and the late 20s, early 30s, that seem so revolutionary for the time that they're made. And once you realize that they're pre-code, you understand that amongst the other things that are tampered down, once the code is in full effect, are speeches like these, because it feels so modern. The third act, unfortunately, becomes a little bit too wrapped up and convenient, but not before she gets another great speech about emotionally taking back power from the man that she had been following across the world, and only to be shunned and rejected. It's almost like she reclaims her power, but the ending doesn't really satisfy that by the end. It's still worth a watch. I mean, Ryan, we've talked about this before. Like the movie gets really good and then it gets tied up into a bow all too quick because you've got to end it on a happy note of some sort, or like it's got to fall within some kind of moral guideline. It's a movie that I think you might like, Ryan, in that respect. I still haven't seen Merrily We Go to Hell yet, which is the other one you recommended, the Dorothy Arzner one. But I feel like the power of Norma Shearer's performance might work better for you than it sounds like Merrily We Go to Hell worked for you. So if you're interested, I will gladly lend you my copy once we meet up again. And because I picked up a physical copy of it pretty quickly after renting it, and I just damn enjoyed it. And then the last thing that I sat down and watched was I went through the 4 Futurama movies because I finished up production season 4, and went into the 4 movies. And I mean, Bender's Big Score is still my favorite of the 4. But I will tell you that I think that my order has changed because it used to be Bender's Big Score, Into the Wild, Green Yonder, Beast with a Billion Backs, and then Bender's Game. And now I feel like I want to flip Bender's Game into third place because Beast with a Billion Backs, for whatever reason, this time wasn't working for me. It's really funny. It's still a very solid story. But it feels like it's the most isolated emotionally of the 4. It feels like the other 3 are aiming for a some kind of emotional closure with some of the characters, or at least attempting to hit some sort of nerve. And Beast with a Billion Backs is just a really fun sci-fi story. The only reason why I would hesitate to make this absolute is because Bender's Game's third act is a sudden shift into the dungeon, or into the Lord of the Rings parody that it becomes, that you only get like a good 20 or like 30 to 35 minutes of it compared to the rest of the story, which takes place in the future, and not in Bender's mind. So it's kind of a weird toss up, but Bender's Big Score and Into the Wild, Green Yonder are still those top 2 for me, hands down. And then the last thing that I watched, I have a friend in filmmaking named John Strelick who's made some wonderful films. And he started going into more of a YouTube series territory. And he started making this show called I've Got Them Pegged. And I got to watch a copy of it in advance. It's coming to YouTube. And it stars some friends of ours, Jenny Reed and Larissa Pruitt. And it deals with this woman. It's set to look like a VHS video diary in the 1980s. And it stars Jenny as a woman who is creating these video diaries and becomes convinced that her roommate is a serial killer. And so she enlists her brother, played by John, to help her find a way to trap her roommate and find out who she's been killing. It's very funny. Putting aside from the fact that I've known these guys for a while and the films that they make, like this was just genuinely something funny that like I was able to kick back to. Like the humor's on point. They found a way to shoot this around LA and avoid anything that looked modern into 2021 realm. So it has the feel of a 1980s video, kind of like somebody hanging around with a camcorder. It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic for what they're going for. There's a scene in it where a woman is like beating a cat to death in a bag. It's like a really dark joke, but it was just such a funny capper on what the premise is in terms of going for this bleakly like pitch black comedy. It's something I wasn't expecting to see out of like people that I've seen making films for years. So yeah, it's called I've Got Them Pegged. I encourage people to check it out once it's dropped. It's a very, very funny series. And I think you're going to have fun with this. So yeah. And that's what all I've been watching this week.
Brad?
Not much for me. I watched 2 things. The first, I just got done rewatching Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar because I watched it one time and fell asleep 10 minutes in, and then watched it a second time and then fell asleep 20 minutes in, and then rewatched it a third time, and I couldn't. Hulu wouldn't let me skip ahead, so I had to watch it from the beginning again, and I got so bored. But like even by half an hour, I was like, "Is this movie even a comedy?" And I quit. And then today I finally watched it entirely, picking up from that spot. And the second half is way better than the first half.
I heard it's like one of the best movies, like, or comedies that's come out in a long time.
I mean, it's not great, you know. It's no 21 Jump Street, but
Yeah.
There's a right away. This isn't spoilery because it's the first thing that happens in the movie. There's like a Dr. Evil character that is not in the trailer. It is so absurd and very much in that same vein. And there's like a plot to destroy to like destroy Vista Del Mar with killer mosquitoes. And so there's that, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be really zany. And then it takes so long to build up to eventually like the good stuff where you finally get that character's backstory. And the first thing of the whole movie that I laughed at was that so the villain is this woman who grew up with a skin condition and she can't be out in the sun. And so she got bullied. And so she's taking it out on Vista Del Mar for being humiliated. But in the flashback, when she's a kid in school, she's describing like the kids used to call me pale skin and white face and asshole. I just thought that was funny. And then like later on, Star's sitting on the beach trying to like grasp with the fact that the two main characters are oblivious to this whole destroy the beach plot, and their drama is that they meet a guy who they both fall for, and then they secretly start to date him separately, and one's doing better than the other. But Star is sitting on the beach at one point trying to contemplate like what she's done, and this like sentient crab walks up to her, and he's got the voice of Morgan Freeman, but he called himself Morgan Friedmund, and he's just like Morgan Freeman giving her wisdom, and then he just walks back out into the sea. So that was really funny. So, and yeah, stuff like that accelerates more towards the end. Where I was like, the beginning of the movie should have been like that. So yeah. Then the other thing I watched was before Black Widow. I saw a documentary called "The Loneliest Whale: The Search for 52," which is a story about there's a rare whale that has been recorded at doing whale song at 52 hertz, whereas I forget what the actual number is, but like most whale song of like any other whale is at a different, it's either a lower, I think it's just a lower number, but I forget what the number is. But the story is that because it's communicating at this frequency that no one's ever heard of before, they're pretty sure that there's no other whales that it can communicate with, so it's just swimming around, not be able to like talk to people or talk to other whales. So there was a guy years ago who documented it as best he could, and he recently died. So this filmmaker takes up the cause, and they go on a 7-day expedition to try and find it and validate that it is in fact a whale at all, because they're suspicious that it's maybe submarine or like man-made. And the documentary is a little weird because right away, without any kind of setup, it's from the documentarian's perspective. Like they're a character in it, and they treat it as though they are well known, but like they're their own Jacques Cousteau.
I always think that's weird when a documentarian is in there.
It's tricky. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, like that felt odd, but he wasn't treating himself like a big celebrity. It was just like, here's a person that I'm supposed to know, but I don't. And he's the whole expedition is from his point of view instead of the general sense of like everyone involved is searching for this one whale. And like, yeah, there's other people there and they are characters, but it's just weird that he makes himself part of the story. And like you see him on camera parts, but yeah, so they go on this expedition and, there's ups and downs, and a lot of time is padded with. There's a part in the middle where they flash back to the history of whaling. And so you see really graphic footage of like the really horrible things they did to catch whales, and did it quickly and efficiently. And it's just awful. And how all that was derailed by the whale song album in the 70s, I think it was. Before that they were just dumb animals, and then once they found out that whale song, they're smart, they communicate, they have their own language, and then they put it on a vinyl record, and it was like the best-selling like nature album of all time. And then people took up the cause of Save the Whales, which eventually became like a Star Trek movie.
I was going to say, if this whale is only singing song at certain frequency, I think that this isn't really a question about if it can communicate with whales. The question is, can it communicate with something that might destroy Earth in a couple of years?
Actually, it becomes the next question is like, is it lonely at all? Because it is swimming with other groups of whales, and it may just be a hybrid of like a blue whale and a humpback or something. So it's not necessarily alone, but it just, it's like someone has to have has to communicate with sign language, unless someone else knows it back,
Right.
They can't communicate. So, but also, what does an animal like that experience loneliness like a human would, and then another part of it is another chunk of it is dedicated to how much noise pollution the shipping lanes cause and divert the natural paths of whales and aquatic life. So at one point they're like really onto something. Like they find they divert course and they find another place where all the marine life is hanging out, and they're recording it, and all of a sudden, their audio file just spikes because this huge shipping transport comes through and just drowns everything out, and then all that marine life just scatters.
It's kind of like when an airplane is flying overhead when you're trying to film something. It just completely kills the mood.
Yeah. But yeah, then you can't read the waveform anymore because it just spikes everywhere,
That's like clipped to shit.
Yeah, it's just covered like from top to bottom. Like there's no empty space because at that depth, like sound travels better underwater, which is why marine life communicates so well, is because the sound bounces off all that density. It's like 2 atmospheres, 3 atmospheres as you go deeper, and so a whale can communicate with another one almost cross-continental if they need to. And then, like a shipping boat will completely interrupt all that and wipe it out. And there's hundreds of thousands of shipping barges going back and forth across the world all at once, at a single time. So it's really disrupted the flow of everything. But yeah, and then I won't spoil, whether it's the loneliest one or not.
What's the name of the doc again?
The Loneliest Whale, The Search 52. I think it's actually like maybe an hour and a half. It's not that long.
Okay. It was at the Alamo, or
is it the Mayan?
Oh, the Mayan. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it might be. Out.
And then I watched Loki, which
Nice.
after being excited by episode 4 and feeling like, oh, cool, we're finally getting somewhere. Episode 5 drops, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're gonna just sit around and explain this instead of moving forward. So it's not terrible. It's just there was so much momentum in the episode before, and I feel like they got dragged down, spinning their wheels in episode 5. So episode 6 is next, and it has to be good. It has to be a good finale.
I liked episode 5. It was fun to see all the different versions of Loki interacting with each other.
Yeah, no, there's moments in episode 5. I mean, I think as a series as a whole, the series is really great. And it's I mean, you knew they're going to build to crescendo, for a payoff, and hopefully the payoff's going to be really good. I mean, I have a feeling that my theory is Loki is the bad guy throughout the whole thing. Because that's all he does is be the bad guy. And for him to be this lovey-dovey person, I don't know if I buy it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Obviously, there's a castle somewhere that they're on their way to, and that'll give us our answers. But yeah, it's fun seeing all the Lokis, but at the same time, like I don't feel like we learned anything new in this episode that was furthering
Well,
the
we
plot.
learned Mobius isn't dead.
What?
I said we learned Mobius isn't dead, so that's good.
I mean, I figured when Loki was revealed that he didn't die from being pruned, I assume Mobius wasn't dead either. So
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers, and he didn't watch the end credit scene for episode 4. So we were talking at lunch, and he says, "Man, I can't believe they would kill Loki." I said, "Oh, did you watch the credit scene?" He says, "There was a credit scene."
how do you
might
not
want to watch that?
how do you like watch Marvel now and not just stay through the credits for everything? Like,
Yeah, even if there isn't one, you know.
yeah, like there's only been a handful of times that's not happened. That's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least just fast forward to the end just to double check.
Yeah, like
Better, enjoy
Uh-huh.
the music. I think Loki's music's really good too.
yeah, you're home. You can just fast forward through the credits. Like
Yeah.
I was watching Black Widow and people are like leaving as soon as the first credits hit. I'm like, really? Is it really like
20
that important to
years.
you? Like you can't wait another 5 minutes for anything? Like,
I can read about it on the internet later.
so yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Yeah, so yeah, I watched Loki. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the ending. I mean, if it's not Loki, I'm pretty sure they're setting up Kang the Conqueror, because that big smoke thing is something from the comics that's associated with Kang. So we'll see. Kang's story is really convoluted as well, so I don't know exactly what they're going to be shooting for, or what version of Kang they're going to have. But
Then again, everybody thought that WandaVision was setting up Sinestro, and that didn't end up panning out.
Mephisto.
Whatever.
Wait.
Sinestro is Green Lantern. Mephisto is the devil. I mean, way different.
Is the castle Mephisto?
No.
Is Loki Mephisto?
So that that'd be sweet. The big cloud thing is imprisoning Kang in the comics. In one of the Avengers comics I have, I forget his name. It's like Altroth or something.
I thought it was like Eliath or something.
Yeah, Eliath.
I remember it sounded like a Goliath or something.
Yeah, it's he's basically Galactus, or the other bad guy in Green Lantern. But I watched a few things. I showed my kid Howard the Duck, because I was trying to explain it to him, and he looked at me like I was stupid. And I said, "No, Kellen, it's a movie about a duck who lives in Duck World, and he gets sucked to Earth, and he knows, duck foo, and there's these alien monsters." And I couldn't describe it to him, and so we watched it, and he laughed at it. He thought it was a fun movie. Tonally, that movie is all over the place, and it's there's some parts that are really fun. I think the first 20-30 minutes of the movie are really great, and then it really drags down. I know I've said it before, the editing and pacing in the film is really off.
Yeah, it's like half an hour too long, and it gets way less fun halfway through.
I agree. And like I think the last time I watched this, I mentioned this on the podcast, the when they're riding in the airplane is just way too long.
Oh yeah.
He's saying, "Oh, I'm going to knock all the duck hunters off their boats," and Tim Robbins' character in it's a total dickhead, and I don't know what he's trying to play in the film. I mean, Leah Thompson's great in it. I think the dude who does the voice work for Howard is really great.
Their scene in bed together was like really fun, and I'm totally sold that Howard the Duck is a person.
Oh yeah. And in Ultra HD, the costume and the animatronic for Howard, it looks so great. The feathers have more detail. His clothes do. When he talks, you can see the different colors of paint that they have in the bill and how they blended it in. It looks really great. But it really loses itself towards the end. But you also have Jeffrey Jones, who's really great as the bad guy. I don't know. It's a really weird movie. I'm always really torn on it because there's parts of me that really enjoy it as growing up as a kid, but then it's just 20 minutes too long. I think because I think it's almost 2 hours. I think they could have cut 20 minutes out of it.
Yeah, starting with that extended plane flight thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then
start there.
I think if they would have stuck with the kind of silly, where he's using duck foo and helping all that stuff, because the added, I don't need anybody's help, and she leaves him and he goes on his own to find a job for like 10-15 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of a deviation too. I'm sure with the plane, they spent so much effort on it that they felt like, hey, we better put like all this in the movie.
Yeah, and it feels like it's for the children, that part, you know what I mean? Where it's, hey, this is really silly. But whatever. It's still kind of cool. I watched Kevin Smith's Silent but Deadly. It's the stand-up he did just before he had his massive heart attack. I mean, literally. And what I love about watching Kevin Smith is I think he tells stories so well, and he's really engaging and he's funny. And I'm a sucker for those kind of Kevin Smith films, whether it's An Evening with Kevin Smith or him just doing Q&As. I think he's really great at it.
What was one of the stories in this one? Because it popped up on my feed and I was like, did I watch that yet or not?
He talks about Bruce Willis calling him back.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
How his wife visits him, or his wife makes him take her on one of his like lecture tours. His kid driving.
What's the story about Bruce Willis calling him back?
Well, Bruce Willis calls him out of the clear blue one day. And
because he has photos of him from like the cop out set or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But it turns out to be the wrong Kevin.
Yeah. It's really
that's
and he calls his daughter Rose because he doesn't know his Kevin's daughter's name. It's funny. I like I said, I just really love when Kevin Smith just kind of talks. It's fun. It's on Prime Video, I think, if you want to check it out.
Okay.
I watched The Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt and other people. Sam Richardson, who I do love from Veep, is in it as well.
Oh, he's in Werewolves Within.
Yeah, he's funny. The movie revolves around an alien race that invades Earth, and people come from the future to recruit people from the past to fight in this war. And everybody has a chance to be drafted, and their tour of duty is 7 days. And after 7 days, they're randomly pulled back to where they, to their previous life. The story is really kind of stupid, but the aliens in it are really cool, and the action at some point is really cool. The script is really stupid. Like if you could pick a cliche of every action movie that came out in the 90s, it probably has a part in this film. But I will say the aliens are really cool in it. The special effects look really great. And it's one of those movies that was supposed to come out last year that cost about $200 million, and Amazon bought for $200 million so you can stream it. And it's cool that it, if you really just want to watch it for free. Chris Pratt's great in it. He plays a teacher who ends up being enlisted, and he was previously in the army, so he's kind of the leader when he goes back. And there's a bunch of other things going on. I won't spoil it because it's pretty new. I think it came out on Friday. But if you want to see an action movie with really cool alien design, story's kind of stupid, I'd definitely check it out. That was fun. And the last two things I watched Fear Street Part 1 and Fear Street Part 2, which is a slasher anthology, I guess, on Netflix, based on R.L. Stine's Fear Street novels. The first one is it takes place in 1994, and it has some great homages to Scream and horror films from that time. The soundtrack is really good. The deaths are super violent and unexpected because you kind of root for these people and then they die in it. And it's kind of shocking that they would kill these people. And it tells a story of this cursed town because witch was murdered in 1666, and she's cursed the town ever since. And the town was divided in two. One side is called Shadyville, the other side is Sunnyville, something like that. And there's a lot of murders that happen on the bad side of town, and on the good side of town, everybody's great. So there's this rivalry that's building up. And you learn slowly that maybe the witch is still cursing people and is the one who's causing all these murders in town. So the second part is called 1978, and it's basically a Friday the 13th. So it happens at a camp. There's lots of violence. There's sex, and it's just really cool. It all ties together. If you like slasher films and you want to see violence, you should definitely see it. There's a part in 1978 where the killer is hitting this dude in the head over and over with an axe, and it splits his head every time he hits him. It's pretty gruesome. And so I'm excited to see the last part goes back to 1666. So interested to see where it goes. And that's what I watched this week. This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we saw Black Widow. Corinne, do you recommend Black Widow?
You know, I only saw it the one time. I would be willing to give it a second chance, but I have to say that after just one viewing, I was underwhelmed. This wasn't, I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but it kind of wasn't it. This movie is very, very dark, especially for an MCU film. Kind of depressing, to be honest. And I mean, Florence Pugh just kind of steals the show, which is a little unfortunate because Scarlett Johansson has really made this character amazing in the other films she's been in. And of course, in her solo movie, you know, Florence Pugh is the one stealing the spotlight, and she does an excellent job. So it's just kind of unfortunate. It's like, dang it, we waited so long to get a Black Widow movie, and even in her own movie, she's kind of upstaged. But yeah, I have some problems with it, but I mean, if you probably already saw it anyway, so people are going to do what they're going to do.
Zach?
I really like this movie. I think part of it definitely had to do with the fact that, in spite of the fact that the last year and change provided a wonderful opportunity for us to watch a lot of a very diverse slate of movies that we probably otherwise wouldn't have reviewed normally on the show. I really did love watching a Marvel movie in a theater again. And what better way to do it than an IMAX? The movie itself, I think it works pretty well as its own standalone movie that falls within the continuity. I liked watching Scarlett Johansson take the lead on it. I liked the addition of not just to her mythos, but to the character building that we have with her quote unquote family. We'll talk about that later on after the trailer. I think pretty much everybody is giving an A-game performance in the film. I thought more about the third act, and I think that the third act actually does work for me pretty solidly in terms of what its thematic aiming is going for. And I think as far as a Marvel movie is concerned, I kind of liked that because Black Widow is such a spy character. I appreciated having something outside of the norm of Tony Stark and even Steve Rogers, and kind of watching this very unique angle into Marvel kind of unfold and explored a little bit. So yeah, I definitely recommend it, and I actually will recommend it in IMAX because the sequences that are in full IMAX in this film are very fun to watch. So yeah.
Brad?
I had some issues with it, but overall, I had fun. A lot of the fun comes from the interfamily banter, not so much the Marvel plot. So as I'd actually read, so yeah, it's fun. People, if you haven't seen it, you probably should. So
Yeah, I think this movie is pretty great. I think the family element is really dynamic. I actually think this movie has to be dark based on who Natasha is and where she came from. And for her to get over the past, I think that's where it needs to be. Yeah, everybody does a really standout job in this film. And here is the trailer for Black Widow. You should go see it.
I tell people my sister moved out west. You're a science teacher. Your husband, he renovates houses. You're thinking about moving, but you're gonna wait until the interest rates go down.
That's not my story. Before I was an Avenger, I made mistakes. And a lot of enemies.
His call sign's Taskmaster. He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated, fully conscious, but no choices.
I should have come back for you.
How many others are there? Enough.
We have to go back to where it all started. So they never do that to anyone again.
We're a family. We fight with you.
You won't win.
I've always found it best not to look into the past.
Okay, you got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
At some point, we all have to choose between what the world wants you to be and who you are. I made my choice. I'm done running. Here's what's gonna happen.
Natasha, don't slouch.
I'm not slouching.
You're going to get a back hunch.
Listen to your mother.
Oh my God, this.
Up.
All right, enough. All of you.
I didn't say anything. That's not fair.
When you say dark, this is darker than I thought Marvel would go.
you know, it's funny is I didn't think it was that dark at all for what the subject was.
Yeah, this is ultimately a movie about human trafficking.
Mhm.
Never thought I'd say that about an MCU film.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not. I think it has to be because we already knew with the glimpses of Natasha's past that it wasn't going to be a happy story if she was ever able to resolve her origin.
Mhm.
They hinted at it a few times, and yeah, I mean, the story is Natasha gets a package while she's on the run. And she goes back to one of her safe houses where she finds her sister. And then they have to save the other widows, basically.
They have to find the Red Room and destroy it.
Yeah, and it has a fun opening. I think, it takes place in, is it 95? I think that's right.
Yeah, 95 in Ohio.
In Ohio, where her parents are a sleeper cell for Russia. And they're spies and they're found out by S.H.I.E.L.D. And it kind of has a fun, hey, this isn't what it seems. And then it takes a really dark turn where, the Red Guardian doesn't care about what happens to his girls. He says, oh, no, you're just part of whatever. And he lets them
You're just part of this
decoy.
You're just part of this decoy operation. You don't mean anything. But as we find out later, it doesn't.
They're not even his girls.
Yeah, but you also find out that the Red Guardian is not as callous as that as the movie goes on. But
Did Captain Marvel take place in 95 or 91?
95 because I would say 95 because Stan Lee had a script for Mallrats.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah, so it's running concurrently in that beginning segment. And for anybody wondering when this movie takes place, it's after Civil War. Yeah.
And before Infinity War.
Yep.
Because at the end of the movie, she dyes her hair blonde and cuts it short.
Yeah.
And she gets the vest. It's a cute story.
Oh God, that I love that scene where they're in the car and Florence Pugh's talking about how she's never bought anything for herself and she's just praising the hell out of this vest. It's just a lovely moment.
There's pockets for everything.
That was a great scene.
I want to bring this up before I forget. So Taskmaster turns out to be a girl that she'd let die in a bombing, and
the daughter of Ray Winstone's character.
Yeah, she's come back. She's been programmed to kill and mimic Avengers fighting styles perfectly. They make a big deal about how she's scarred from the explosion, but later on in the movie, Black Widow and her mom turn the tables on Ray Winstone because they have Mission Impossible face technology. I'm like, why not just give the daughter that technology so she can have whatever face she wants and she doesn't have to feel like an outcast all the time?
Well, because he doesn't really care about his daughter. He's using her as
after
means of an end.
After they deprogram her and send her on her way with the rest of the widows, I'm just like, why don't you throw her a Mission Impossible mask? So
I mean, they could still do that. Melina presumably still had hers.
Yeah.
We don't see what happens after the other widows leave, so for all we know, that does happen.
Yeah,
it's an interesting take on Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a really cool villain.
What's Taskmaster supposed to be? Because I'm not familiar with that in the comics.
So in it, he learns and studies the Avengers, and he's able to mimic anybody's fighting style. So he's really tough to beat in combat. You kind of have to outsmart him. So it's basically the same story. He's not programmed. He's just has a superhuman ability to mimic fighting styles.
And he's a dude, and he's not connected to the Red Room normally.
Yes.
Yeah. Ryan, I have a question for you. Do you care about these changes they made to Taskmaster?
No, I don't.
Good.
I don't care as long as it fits this narrative they're telling.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, Taskmaster's not off limits, say, as someone as Superman, where Superman, you have to have him come to Earth and be raised by the Kents. I don't care, what he looks like, but that story element has to be the same. Someone like Taskmaster, I mean, at the end of the day, he, who turns out to be a she, has the same powers. You know what I mean? She can mimic fights and is a skilled fighter and isn't necessarily superhuman, but learns how to fight.
Just speaking as a Marvel novice who saw a lot of people complaining about Taskmaster, I was just like, I don't know, it worked for me. I mean, they made it an emotionally resonant part of the film to exemplify the fact that Ray Winstone's character is the biggest asshole on planet Earth, and this particular story
just shows that he doesn't even care about his daughter. He will brainwash her to meet at the ends of whatever he wants to activate every widow in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with them changing stuff as long as it fits the narrative. Because here's the thing with comic books too, is there's different variations of every character, which Loki proved. So, just place a different place. Yeah.
And they retcon everything all the time anyway. So it's like who cares? You just go back to the comic books you like.
Yeah, and I don't think Taskmaster is, a sacred villain by any means. He's cool.
I'd never heard of him until.
I mean, this is how much Taskmaster really means. Right now, he's in Spider-Man, and him and Black Ant, who's a bad guy who's like Ant-Man, but he's Black Ant. They just
bad because he's black. Wow.
No, because he's his costume he's red and black. And so they just quip off each other and they're really kind of goofy. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's not a sacred one to me.
Right.
And
I mean, if there's a Taskmaster fan out there who says, fuck you guys, if you only knew how great Taskmaster was, then I'll say, okay.
I will say, please calm down, sir. Put down the knife. But I by the way, Ray Winston is. I love when he pops up in things, and in this particular film, like he's doing a wonderful bad guy role here. Like he only gets one or two like big moments, but he really shines through as like this just utter asshole. Like it is like it's a solid performance. And David Harbour as Red Guardian. Holy shit, that's a movie I want. this failed counterpart to Captain America from the Soviet side.
I mean, maybe he'll get his own Disney Plus show someday.
That'd be amazing if they actually did that. Ryan, like, how Red Guardian familiar were you? Because I had no idea about him at all.
Not very at all. In fact, I want to say the Red Guardian I know was in the Defenders, and it's a she, but I could be wrong. I might be mixing up Guardians.
I mean, it's just like Captain America. It's a title that gets passed down to different people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing so.
The scene where he's in the jail and he's bragging to all the people in the prison, and the one guy says to him, like, he's just like, "Well, Captain America was born and was still frozen when you claim you fought him," and he just crushes his arm. And they hold on it, so you barely see the arm has completely been dislocated and dismembered, and they just hold on this shot of David Harbour just looking at him, going like, he's like, "Have you learned your lesson here today?" It's a lovely shot.
My comic book history mind is still intact. Yes, the Red Guardian I'm aware of is from the Defenders, and her name is Tanya Belinsky.
Okay,
but there's been like 5 of them. So, but yeah, you're right. He's basically the Russian Captain America, where they inject him with someone with super soldier serum, and they get those powers.
I wonder if in the MCU, if they specify that it's the same formula that Erskine had in First Avenger, or if it's something that the Soviets developed on their own, because the only other time that they had attempted to create the serum again was with Banner in 2008 Hulk, and that was the impetus for Ross going after him. But after
my guess is the Russian version of the super soldier is probably different.
Like, it's got to have something different about it. Like, I don't know. David Harbour's character is much more depressed in this movie than Captain America is, it seems, or at least like a little bit more pathetic. So maybe it just gives you more self-doubt. I don't know. Like,
I do love the moment where Elena they're in that store and she says, "Why do you pose like this and flip your hair back?"
I love how that pays off when she does the pose herself, and she just goes like, "Oh no." And they have that thread of Elena's favorite song being American Pie as she's a kid, and there is that lovely moment where Red Guardian starts singing American Pie to her before Rachel Weisz's compound gets invaded. It's a very the movie's full of very nice small moments. Like it seems like this story, because it doesn't have the gravity of the Avengers fully attached to it, because at this point the Avengers in different forms are divided and at least one faction is going into hiding after Civil War. It gives this moment for downtime with a character that really was ultimately a supporting character throughout a 20 movie series, and giving, even if she's not the center of attention in every scene, like, it is really, we're in her world this time. And so there's something about the appreciation of that coming to fruition in a movie that works on pretty much every level that you would expect a Marvel movie to, on top of which, like, because it's not dealing explicitly in people with like metahuman powers or whatever. It ends up being like, in many instances, a really cool spy flick.
Yeah.
And that prison break scene with Red Guardian is wonderfully shot. Like, that's some beautiful work there. Like, that looks fantastic, especially in IMAX, and they blow it up and you're getting all the different angles of this thing breaking down. Like, it's lovely to look at.
Agreed.
And I'm going to take it as assuming that, I mean, I walked out of this movie with Ryan and I was just like, you son of a bitch. And I've got like 3 fucking series to catch up on within a week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was supposed to come out obviously before Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's what I gathered because of Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus popping up.
Yeah. But she's great. Like, I love her. And I think if you haven't seen Veep, see Veep. She's fantastic in it. And, it almost seems like they're forming a Dark Avengers, and that the next Avengers movie is going to be Avengers versus Dark Avengers, or Thunderbolts, or whatever you want to call them.
Doesn't Norman Osborn run Dark Avengers, or is that?
He does.
Yeah. So we're getting that Spider-Man that Spider-Man 3 with all those returning Spider-Man, Ryan.
Hopefully.
Do I dare hope that Willem Dafoe will run the Dark Avengers? Don't break my spirit, Ryan. Just tell me there's hope.
And he better die at some point and say, "Dark avenge me," and then we'll be set.
Dark avenge me. Just want this, guys. Come on. I've been begging for a year now. If you can give Ryan all the criterions he wants, give me Willem Dafoe in this new Spider-Man movie. I'm begging you.
Yeah. Anything else, fellow nerds, you want to add?
How did they get those mattresses up on top of the rooftops for the snipers? While being discreet. Any ideas?
In the scene where she gets the spell broken?
Scene. Yeah. When they're in
I don't know.
Budapest or something.
Maybe they're already there. I don't know.
I was just like, man, those are huge.
I think that scene's in Morocco, Brad. The safe house is in Budapest.
Morocco, whatever. Either way.
Budapest.
Budapest.
No, it's Budapest. See, that's a joke from the movie.
Yep.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I just had a lot of problems with this movie, and it would take me too long to get into all of them, but I'll just say I felt like the writing was really weak, or at least not as emotionally poignant as I would have wanted. And I think I felt like Black Widow should have been a little bit different, like just coming out of the events of Civil War. I don't know, I felt like she should have reacted differently or talked differently. She just felt so empty. And I mean, maybe that was intentional, but
there is something in the opening that I wish the movie might have been a little longer, if only to give more reaction to how she feels in a world where now she's on the run after having this family. But I guess it gets resolved by the end when she realizes that she has to go, look for the others that have been in hiding and try to reform this family within her own mind. But
that was the part that feels a little out of character for me, is just the fact that, I guess Steve, he's like one of her, I think the 2 Avengers she's the closest with are Steve and Clint. And Steve's on the run. She probably doesn't know where he is or what he's doing. But she knows that Clint is in prison. And the fact that, as we hear about in this movie, Clint was very important in like getting her out of, whatever organization she worked for, the Red Room or something else. And that he helped her defect to S.H.I.E.L.D. and that he was the one who gave her the second chance to turn her life around and to eventually become an Avenger. I feel like she should have been gung-ho from the beginning about like, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to like break Clint out of this prison. I mean, she was the one who effectively switched sides at the very end of the fight in Civil War. Mm-hmm. So it's like she she turned her back on the friends that she had sided with to protect the other friends that she felt like maybe they were in the right or she liked them better or whatever it was. You know, she stuck her neck out to save Steve and his friends, and now she's like a fugitive. So I don't know. I think she says something at the beginning of this movie like, "Oh, I'm used to being alone," or "I work better alone," or something. And I'm like, just feels a little out of character for that. And the whole, I mean, I know, Zach, you were talking earlier about like retcons, but this whole like the family thing really felt like a retcon to me. Just because in Endgame, it is such a critical moment for her when she's like, you know, the Avengers, this is my family. And she is willing to sacrifice herself because of her family. And the whole aftermath where Hawkeye's like, no, we were her family. And it's like, first of all, I feel like she should, like, Hawkeye for sure would have known about this fake family that she had. She should have mentioned them at some point to him. But also, if we were going to go this route of like, oh, she actually had this family all along, then I think we needed to find out whether they died in the blip or the snap or whatever you want to call it. Like, if she found out, like, yeah, all three, you know, my mom, my dad, and my sister were all snapped away, and that's contributed to her wanting to save everybody and wanting to die for the Soul Stone, you know, that should have been in the movie somewhere, or we should have gotten that information somehow. But right now, it's just like in Endgame, it just, her whole thing was about how the Avengers were her family, and now we find out she had this whole other family the whole time.
But she was disillusioned by that family from the get-go because of the fact that the notion of it being a family, even though the emotional crux of it is both her and Elena saying it was real to me, is that at a certain point it became disillusioned for her, especially within the realm of the Black Widow training in the Red Room, which then allows her to form some form of trust, not just with somebody like Clint, but then people like Tony and Steve and Bruce. And when you lose that, when you see it divided, it recalls and triggers for her the same dissemblance of a family being separated like it was when she was young. Her seeing that reunification at the end indicates that she finds some form of way to go after fixing the Avengers, or at least finding a way to unify the family for herself and her own peace of mind. I mean, it works for me. I will say also that Stinger scene indicates to me that the Hawkeye series, in some form or fashion, might be able to elaborate upon any of your concerns, if I had to take a stab in the dark, because it's not like the Hawkeye series would ignore Hawkeye's relationship to Natasha. It would in fact be a huge emotional crux, given the fact that he was there when she sacrificed herself.
Right. And I mean, maybe that'll get addressed sometime down the road, but if we're looking at just this movie, I feel like we did not get the emotional payoff that I was wanting, I guess is what really it boils down to.
I wonder if it's a movie that'll sit with you better after more viewings. But I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see. But I
mean, I wasn't dying to go back into the theater either, so I don't know.
That's fair.
And I did look on Florence Pugh's IMDb page, and she is listed as being in the Hawkeye series for 8 episodes.
Boom!
Whether she's going to be in all 8 episodes, I don't know, but that's just what she's credited for right now.
Let's hope. I want more Florence Pugh. Elena is a very fun character in the movie, and I liked watching her story unfold.
Yeah, she needs to be in more things, for sure.
Florence Pugh has been like slowly creeping in through the scene. Like, Fighting with My Family is a solid movie that I did not expect to like. I walked out of that going like, holy shit, I give a shit about Paige the wrestler. That's awesome. Because I'm not a huge wrestling guy. And she's great in Midsommar if you can, if you're a person who can acquiesce to the visual style of Ari Aster and enjoy what he's doing with horror films, she's really good in that movie. And she's good in Little Women too. So she's making her way through.
Probably the best part of Little Women. I think she gave Amy a lot more depth than she would have gotten in other versions, for sure.
That's what it seemed like from the way the movie played out. Is that like there was just as much focus on her. If anything, it felt like Emma Watson was tossed to the side in that movie. But I don't know because I've never read Alcott's novel. So, anywho, what's the
Brad?
next Marvel movie after this?
Brad, did you want to say anything?
I'm good.
One
Okay.
more thing I'll add is that just in general, all the post Endgame MCU projects I've been kind of mildly apathetic toward. I wasn't a big fan of Far From Home. I mean, I like WandaVision, although I think the ending was a little like muddled. Like it should have been written a little better. Wasn't a huge fan of Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm not super on board with Loki yet, although obviously that can change with the 6th episode. Like maybe that ties it all together and it's like, we finally get the payoff we've been wanting. And then Black Widow, and it's like, I don't know. I think like, the stakes, like what are the stakes anymore? Half of all life was out of existence for 5 years. And they solved time travel. Like where do you go from there? I think
this is
more interior storytelling, which is I think why WandaVision works so well for me, is because we really get to see like Wanda's journey of grief. And Falcon Winter Soldier was so cluttered with like a lot of other stuff going on, but Bucky and Sam's journeys were probably the most solid parts of that show. And now it's like what was the big emotional takeaway for Black Widow on an emotion, from Black Widow's perspective, it's just all of, okay, so she made peace with her old adopted family, and now she's like gonna go rescue the Avengers. Wow. Like, I guess I wanted more,
Well, this is the thing I'll always pose to you, Corinne, because this is your complaint about a lot of things. Well, I mean, what more do you want? It's already a prequel, so that eventually she's going to have to go and save the other Avengers. And the emotional payoff is she learned that she already had a family and she had one previously. I mean, I don't know where you possibly go or what else they possibly could have done. Spider-Man Far From Home is amazing.
That's what you think. But this movie teased us with 2 very, very good prequel ideas, with the opening where you see the family, they were the sleeper cell and then they flee custody or whatever. Like that whole storyline could have been like a movie unto itself. Like that could have been the Black Widow prequel movie, or the story about how she defected to S.H.I.E.L.D. and how she, like the whole thing with Dreykov's daughter and all that.
So, I mean, it would have been a cool movie for you to watch for them being in America and learning how to like eventually run away one day.
I mean, maybe that's not the entire story, but at least like just that era, her being with this fake family. I don't know. There's something there. I mean, what isn't the TV show The Americans like a big hit? Like, give me more of the spy stuff and less of the superhero stuff. Like, that's one of the things that makes Black Widow so interesting, is that she does have this kind of subtle style to her, of where she goes into an interrogation and it looks like she's powerless, but she's actually the one in control the whole time.
I would say, Corinne, that because I agree with you in the respect that, like, if you've got a character like Black Widow, you want to lay more into the spy and less into the superhero element of it. I will say, though, as somebody who walked out of that film, I felt like there was a perfect balance and not relying on the meta-human nature of everything. Like Red Guardian and to an extent Taskmaster, I guess, are your only real 2 big superhero-ish characters. And if you were to clock their time compared to the other time dedicated to spy stuff, it's a wide, vast difference. I don't know if maybe I'm defending the movie a little too much, but I mean, I did enjoy it to the point where I will say that I do feel like I did get more of that difference that I had been wanting out of a Marvel movie in a lot of respects. But I will say that you posed an idea that I would love to see if they could either find a way to do this as a series or use some of do whatever you've got to do tech wise to bring it that far back to talk about Natasha defecting to S.H.I.E.L.D., because that would be an awesome story to see on screen. But given the fact that we were given a story that provides an emotional trilogy from this to Infinity War to Endgame for Natasha, I think is very cool in the same respects that we got that similar trilogy with the Hulk with Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. Like the splintered off characters are getting their own emotional trilogies stacked into the middle of what is essentially the said MCU. It's kind of cool to see. Yeah.
Next week on Real Nerds, we are seeing Space Jam: The New Legacy.
Yeah. Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan. They look like they're actually doing Looney Tunes things in this movie. It could be fun.
Sure. I think the first Space Jam is Henry, don't do it. I think the first Space Jam is super overrated.
The first Space Jam movie only allows the Looney Tunes to be Looney Tunes for approximately 2 minutes, and the other times they're just cowering in fear over the Monstars taking them over. And
I don't know. In the latest preview, LeBron James says, "Granny's making a martini at half," and she says, "Haters gotta hate." And then I haven't watched it, but it's been popping up on my feed of a Porky Pig rap. I don't know about this one, but you never know. You know what? I go into every movie expecting it to be good, so we'll see.
Considering that the Looney Tunes have always embraced the pop culture that's within their sphere since their start in the 30s, this falls exactly in line with what they are able to do. As long as they are able to actually do Looney Tunes things like buzz around and bounce off of walls and do things, that's what I care about.
It's pretty dark that the villain kidnaps LeBron's son and then threatens to kill him if he doesn't play the game. Like, holy shit.
I mean, those are higher stakes than Danny DeVito's character in the first one. Well, actually, I take that back. The stakes in the first one are slavery, which is a loaded theme to throw into Space Jam.
Yeah, but those are cartoon characters, so
it doesn't matter. It's still a really weird theme to stick there.
We know it's not going to happen. They'll be fine. They're the Looney Tunes.
If Wayne Knight doesn't make a cameo appearance in this movie, I will be extremely disappointed, though.
I am interested to hear if they reference, like, the whole episode with Michael Jordan. Like, I'm assuming that takes place within the same universe, so maybe they'll be like, oh, yeah, this is just like that thing with Michael a couple years ago.
I have a hunch that Michael Jordan makes a cameo appearance at the very end. Like, they can't ignore that, that opportunity.
That'd be awesome.
And if he doesn't, he'll take it personally. That's a fucking deep cut right there.
Last Dance jokes are fun.
And
then after that, is it 10th anniversary spectacular?
Yep, coming up.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
That's all, folks.
Save it for next week.
Oh, we got Brad to say something at the end of the episode. We win.
I was going to say it's actually Space Jam, Snake Eyes, and then the 500. So,
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Henry Golding hour for Miss Corinne.
I'm supposed to be out of town that weekend, so shit.
Just like Dom turned his back on family in F8, you are turning your back on Golding. I mean,
I'll
shocked.
probably see it. I just won't be able to talk about it with y'all, or I'll just have to send in like an audio clip or something.
Well, then it's settled now. I have to be the president of the Golding fan club now.
I gotta tell you, for as few things as the guy's been in, like he's already getting top billing. Like he's got his own standee in the movie theater and Henry Golding underneath, and I'm like, damn. Like the devil works hard, but Henry Golding's agent works harder.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Drafthouse in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.